What did you prepare for, or what were your strategies in getting this straight set win and not losing that early lead?
I think every match is different.
She's not like she was maybe 200 studio that time, and then maybe after that she was really improved her.
Official verdict. Organizers drop bombshell decision on Eala vs Sakatsume match result. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Court Vision Plus, the only place where we don't just watch the match, we dissect the drama, the controversy, and the truth behind the scoreline. I hope you're sitting down because what we have for you today is going to send shockwaves through the tennis world. If you thought the drama at the Philippine Open ended when the final ball was struck, think again. We have just received an official communique from the tournament organizers, and let me tell you, it is a bombshell. For the last few hours, the tennis community has been holding its breath. Rumors were flying, social media was burning up, and the word disqualification was even whispered in the corridors of the Rizal Memorial Sports Complex. Why? Because Himino Sakatsume's coaching team didn't just pack their bags and leave after her defeat to Filipino sensation Eala. No, they marched straight to the technical supervision department and filed a formal complaint that triggered an unprecedented review of the match result. We're talking about a full-scale investigation, slow-motion frame-by-frame analysis, audio reviews of the umpire's internal comms, and a deep dive into the broadcast feeds. The integrity of the Philippine Open was on the line. The fairness of the sport was called into question. And now, the decision is finally here. In this extensive special report, we are going to break down exactly what happened, why Sakatsume's team was furious, the specific moments that were under review, and the shocking official decision that has just been handed down regarding Eala's victory. Don't touch that dial. The verdict is in. And it's time to reveal the truth. Before we dive into the investigation that kept us up all night, we need to understand the spark that lit this fire. To the naked eye, the scoreboard reads a straightforward victory. Eala defeats Himino Sakatsume, 6-4, 6-love. A bagel in the second set. A dominant performance, right? But in the world of professional tennis, the score never tells the full story. And this match? This was a pressure cooker waiting to explode. Let's set the scene. The Rizal Memorial Sports Complex is packed. It's the round of 16. You have Eala, the golden girl of Philippine tennis, playing on home soil, carrying the weight of an entire nation on her shoulders. Across the net, you have Himino Sakatsume, a Japanese powerhouse who had actually beaten Eala before, back in 2023 at the Japan Open. Sakatsume walked onto that court knowing she had the psychological edge. She knew she could beat Eala because she had done it before. But there was a twist. Eala wasn't 100%. If you were watching closely, you saw it, the heavy strapping on her right thigh. She was playing through pain. And in the first set, it looked like that pain might be her undoing. Sakatsume came out swinging, taking a 4-3 lead. The crowd was nervous. The air was thick with tension. Then, the momentum shifted. Eala, gritty and determined, clawed her way back. She took the next 3 games to steal the first set 6-4. And then came the medical timeout. Now, pay attention, because this is where the seeds of the controversy were likely planted. Eala took a medical timeout. She needed treatment on that injured leg. In tennis, the medical timeout, the MTO, is a legitimate rule. But it is also the most controversial tactic in the book. When a player takes an MTO after winning a set, or right before the opponent serves, it disrupts the flow. It freezes the momentum. Sakatsume was left waiting. Stewing. Thinking. When play resumed, the match was effectively over. Sakatsume's rhythm was gone. Her focus had evaporated. Eala came out of that timeout like a woman possessed, ripping winners, chasing down drop shots, and absolutely dismantling her opponent's 6-love in the second set. From the outside, it looked like a heroic comeback from injury. But from the inside of Sakatsume's player box, It looked suspicious. It looked like gamesmanship. And it looked like there were calls, crucial line calls during that pivotal first set, that they believed went unfairly in favor of the home crowd favorite. As the players shook hands at the net, the tension was palpable. Sakatsume was polite, but her eyes told a different story. And while Eala was waving to her adoring fans, Sakatsume's coach was already reaching for the rulebook. The match ended. The crowd went home happy. But deep in the bowels of the stadium, a storm was brewing. Sources close to the situation tell us that Himino Sakatsume's coaching team submitted a formal complaint almost immediately after the match concluded. This wasn't just a bad day at the office complaint. This was a technical protest. What were they alleging? Based on the intense wave of video analysis that followed, we can piece together their grievances. First, the officiating. In a tournament of this magnitude, the line judges are under immense pressure. Sakatsume's team allegedly flagged several overrules and non-calls during the tight 4-3 period in the first set. They claimed that the internal communications between the chair umpire and the linespeople people needed to be audited to ensure there was no bias influenced by the raucous home crowd. Second, the timing. The pacing of the match was a major point of contention. The complaint reportedly questioned the length of the breaks and the administration of the medical timeout. Did it exceed the allotted time? Was it used tactically to ice Sakatsume just as she was gaining ground? And third, and this is the most explosive part, there were whispers about unauthorized coaching. In the heat of the battle, with the crowd roaring, signals can be passed. Sakatsume's camp wanted a review of the broadcast angles to see if instructions were being relayed to Eala from her box during unauthorized moments. This triggered what the organizers are calling a Level 1 review. This is not something that happens every day. This is the tennis equivalent of a VAR check in football, but for the entire match integrity. For hours, the result of the match, Eala's ticket to the quarterfinals, hung in the balance. The W next to her name was written in pencil, not ink. While the fans were celebrating Eala's revenge victory, a team of international officials was locked in a room, staring at screens. We have learned that the review committee utilized 3 distinct sources of data to reach their conclusion. First, the slow-motion replay systems. Every close call, every line touch, every serve was scrutinized. Modern tennis moves at lightning speed. The human eye can miss a ball being out by a millimeter. The committee went through the Hawkeye data and the high frame rate footage to verify if the key points that swung the momentum in the first set were officiated correctly. Second, exclusive broadcast camera angles. You know those cameras you don't usually see on the main feed? The ones fixed on the player boxes and the umpire's chair? Those were the key. The investigators were looking for nonverbal cues. They were watching the interaction between Eala and her team. They were watching the demeanor of the umpire. They were looking for any breach of the code of conduct that would warrant a penalty or a default. Third, internal communications data. This is the stuff the public never hears. The audio logs between the chair umpire and the tournament referee. Was there confusion? Did the umpire miss a procedural step during the medical timeout? Sakatsume's team wanted to know if the protocols were followed to the letter of the law. Imagine the tension in that room. On one side, you have the integrity of the tournament. On the other, you have the potential PR nightmare of overturning a victory by the home nation's hero. The scrutiny was intense. We're told that specific rallies, particularly the breakpoint at 4-all in the first set, were watched dozens of times from every conceivable angle. They were looking for hindrance. They were looking for foot faults. They were turning over every stone. This wasn't just a review, it was an autopsy of a tennis match. And that brings us to this moment. The press release just dropped. The font is bold. The seal is official. And the decision is shocking in its finality. The organizers of the Philippine Open have confirmed that the result of the match between Himino Sakatsume and Alex Eala stands. Let me repeat that, the result stands. Alex Eala is officially the winner. But here is the twist, the shocking part isn't just that the result held up, but the details of the dismissal. The committee released a statement that essentially vindicated the officiating crew entirely, shutting down every single point of contention raised by Sakatsume's team. The report states, after a comprehensive review of video evidence, including slow-motion analysis and officiating audio logs, the technical committee has found no evidence of procedural error, bias, or rule violations. The medical timeout was administered within the correct time limits and according to WTA regulations. All line calls challenged were found to be within the margin of error or correctly adjudicated. The match result is final and confirmed. This is a massive statement. It's a total shutdown. It's the organizers saying, we looked at everything, and your complaints have zero merit. For Eala, this is the best possible news. It clears the cloud hanging over her victory. She didn't win because of a bad call. She didn't win because of a home court cheat. She won because she played better. She won because, at 4-all in the first set, she stepped up and Sakatsume didn't. For Sakatsume's team, this has to be a bitter pill to swallow. To file such a high-stakes complaint and have it rejected so comprehensively is a blow. It suggests that perhaps the frustration of the loss clouded their judgment. It paints the complaint as a desperate attempt to salvage a match that was lost on the court, not in the rulebook. So what does this mean moving forward? First, let's talk about Eala. This young woman is made of steel. Imagine trying to recover from a grueling match, icing your injured leg, preparing for the quarterfinals, all while knowing there is a team of officials in a dark room deciding if your win even counts. That is immense mental pressure. But Eala has shown time and time again that she thrives under pressure. Remember, she admitted in her post-match interview that she struggled in the early goings and was in a lot of tough positions. She acknowledged the fight. She didn't shy away from the fact that it was hard. This validation from the organizers only strengthens her narrative. She is a fighter. She is now set to face Colombia's Camila Osorio in the quarterfinals. Osorio is a tough opponent, a former U.S. Open girls singles champion just like Eala. She's gritty, she's experienced, and she's not going to be intimidated by the Manila crowd. But now, Eala walks into that match with a clean slate. The controversy is dead. The distraction is gone. She can focus entirely on her game. And she's going to need to. That 6-love second set against Sakatsume showed us her ceiling. When she is on, she is unplayable. But the 4-3 deficit in the first set showed us her vulnerability. Against Osorio, she can't afford a slow start. And let's not forget the fans. The Court Vision community. You guys have been battling it out in the comments section all day. Some of you were worried. Some of you were angry that the result was even questioned. Well, vindication is yours. The Philippine Open organizers have sent a clear message: this tournament is being run by the book. They were willing to investigate their own star player to ensure fairness. That transparency, ironically, makes the victory even sweeter. If they had just dismissed the complaint without looking, people would cry conspiracy. But by conducting a forensic audit and then confirming the win, they have made the result bulletproof. This incident also adds a spicy new chapter to the Eala-Sakatsume rivalry. Remember, Sakatsume beat Eala in 2023. Eala got her revenge here in 2026. But after this post-match drama? The next time these two meet, it is going to be personal. Tennis needs these rivalries. It needs the drama. It needs the feeling that there is bad blood. We don't want robotic handshakes, we want passion. And thanks to this shocking decision and the complaint that triggered it, we have the ingredients for a popcorn match every time Eala and Sakatsume are in the same draw. We also have to give credit to Sakatsume. She played a hell of a first set. She pushed Eala to the brink. It's unfortunate that the match ended in a bagel and a controversy, because for 45 minutes, it was high-quality tennis. But that's the brutal nature of the sport. You blink, you lose. You complain, you lose again. You have to realize how rare it is for a result to be challenged like this. Usually, a challenge happens during the point, Hawkeye calls it in or out. But to challenge the validity of the match result post-game? That implies a serious breach of protocol. The fact that the organizers entertained the review shows they took the allegations seriously. The fact that they dismissed it so quickly after the review shows that the allegations likely lacked concrete evidence. It was a bold move by the organizers to be so transparent about the review process. Let's touch on that medical timeout again. Eala's thigh was heavily taped. We saw her struggling with movement in the first set. The timeout wasn't fake, the injury is real. Sakatsume's frustration likely came from the timing. It always feels unfair when your opponent stops play just as you're losing momentum. But the rules are the rules. If you're hurt, you get treatment. Eala used the rules to her advantage, and physically, it paid off. She moved significantly better in set 2. Is it tactical? Maybe. Is it illegal? Absolutely not, as the investigation confirmed. We cannot underestimate the Manila effect. The crowd at Rizal Memorial is loud. They are passionate. They cheer every Eala point like it's a match point. For an opposing player like Sakatsume, that is intimidating. It can feel like the whole world is against you, including the linesman. It's natural to feel paranoid in that environment. But feeling paranoid and actually being cheated are two different things. The review proved that the officiating was sound, despite the noise. Now, all eyes turn to the quarterfinals. The distraction is over. The breaking news has settled. The reality is this: Eala is 3 wins away from lifting the trophy on home soil. Can she do it? Her leg is taped up. Her stamina is being tested. She just survived a boardroom battle regarding her match result. But she has the momentum. She has the crowd. And as the organizers just confirmed, she has the rightful win. Looking ahead to Osorio, this is a step up in class. Osorio is a grinder. She fights for every ball. She defeated Mai Hantama to book her spot in the quarterfinals, and she will be fresh and ready. This is going to be a battle of styles, a battle of wills, and after today's news, a battle for respect. Eala cannot afford to drop her level or get distracted by off-court drama. The 6-love set against Sakatsume is the blueprint. Aggressive baseline hitting, taking the ball early, and not letting the opponent breathe. If Eala brings that version of herself, she wins. If she brings the hesitant version from the first set, Osorio will punish her. The stakes couldn't be higher. Eala is carrying the hopes of an entire nation on her shoulders. Every Filipino tennis fan is watching. Every young player in the Philippines who dreams of making it on the international stage is watching. This isn't just about advancing to the semifinals. This is about proving that Philippine tennis belongs on the world stage. This is about showing that the golden generation of Filipino athletes isn't just a flash in the pan, but a sustainable force in international sports. The pressure would crush most players. But Eala has been preparing for this moment her entire life. She trained at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Spain, learning from the very best. She's competed in Grand Slams. She's won the U.S. Open girls singles title. She knows what championship tennis looks like, and she knows what it takes to deliver under the brightest lights. But here's the thing about pressure: it either creates diamonds or it crushes coal. We're about to find out which one Eala truly is. The investigation is over. The distractions are gone. Now it's just her, the court, and her opponent. Pure tennis. The way it should be. And speaking of pure tennis, let's talk about what makes this Philippine Open so special. This isn't just another tournament on the calendar. This is a homecoming. For years, Filipino tennis fans had to watch their heroes compete on foreign soil, in different time zones, cheering from afar. But now, the biggest names in Philippine tennis are competing right here in Manila. The energy is electric. The passion is palpable. This is what sports is supposed to be about: community, national pride, and the shared experience of witnessing greatness. The Rizal Memorial Sports Complex has been transformed into a fortress of Filipino tennis pride. Every seat is filled. Every cheer echoes through the rafters. When Eala steps onto that court for the quarterfinal, she won't be alone. She'll have thousands of voices behind her, pushing her forward, willing her to victory. That kind of support can be the difference between winning and losing in tight moments. But Osorio is no stranger to hostile crowds. She's a battle-tested competitor who has faced down pressure situations before. She won't be intimidated by the noise. In fact, she might even feed off it, using the underdog energy to fuel her performance. This is what makes the matchup so compelling. It's not just about who hits the ball harder or who moves better. It's about who can handle the moment. Who can execute when it matters most. Who can keep their composure when the crowd is roaring and every point feels like it could decide the match. We'll be covering the quarterfinal match live, bringing you every update, every breakpoint, and yes, every potential controversy that flares up. Because if this tournament has taught us anything so far, it's to expect the unexpected. The investigation that just concluded proved that anything can happen in tennis, and the drama isn't confined to what happens between the lines. But that's what makes this sport so captivating. It's not just about who hits the most winners or who makes the fewest errors. It's about the human drama, the emotional stakes, the narratives that unfold over the course of a tournament. Eala's journey through this Philippine Open has already been remarkable, and we're only in the quarterfinals. Think about everything she's overcome just to get to this point. The injury that threatened to derail her tournament. The psychological challenge of facing an opponent who had beaten her before. The pressure of playing in front of her home crowd. The controversial medical timeout. The post-match investigation that questioned the legitimacy of her victory. And through it all, she's still standing. She's still fighting. She's still alive in the tournament. That resilience is what separates good players from great ones. Champions don't avoid adversity, they embrace it. They use it as fuel. They let it sharpen their focus and strengthen their resolve. Eala has shown all the characteristics of a champion. Now she just needs to prove it by going all the way. The tennis world is starting to take notice. International media outlets are covering this story. Tennis podcasts are discussing the Eala Sakatsume match and the subsequent investigation. Social media is buzzing with debate about the medical timeout, the complaint, and the official verdict. The Philippine Open has captured the attention of the global tennis community, and that's exactly what the organizers hoped would happen. This kind of exposure is invaluable for growing the sport in the Philippines. Young players watching at home are seeing that it's possible to compete at the highest level. They're seeing that Philippine tennis is being taken seriously on the world stage. They're seeing that with hard work, dedication, and a bit of home court magic, anything is possible. And that's ultimately what sports is about, inspiration. The numbers and statistics matter, but what really matters is the impact on people's lives. If even one kid watches Eala fight through injury and controversy to win a match, and that inspires them to work harder on their own game, then this tournament has been a success beyond measure. The pressure is immense, but so is the opportunity. Eala has a chance to write her name into Philippine sports history. She has a chance to become a national hero. She has a chance to prove that all the hype, all the expectations, all the investment in her development was worth it. This is her moment. This is her time. So there you have it. The investigation is closed. The result stands. Eala is the winner. The shocking decision was to uphold the truth of what we saw on the court, a dominant performance by a rising superstar who refused to let injury, pressure, or controversy stop her from achieving her goals. But the story is far from over. The quarterfinal against Camila Osorio looms large. The road to the championship is still long and difficult. The challenges ahead are significant. But if the first few rounds have taught us anything, it's that Eala is ready for whatever comes her way. Now I want to know what you think. Did the organizers make the right call? Was Sakatsume's team justified in demanding an investigation, or was it just sour grapes after a devastating second-set collapse? And most importantly, do you think Eala can go all the way and win the Philippine Open title with that injured leg? Can she overcome Osorio and continue this magical run on home soil? Sound off in the comments below. I read every single one of them. Let's get a debate going. I want to hear your predictions, your analysis, your hot takes. This is what makes the Court Vision Plus community so special. We don't just watch tennis, we live it, we breathe it, we debate it passionately. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want to stay ahead of the news with the most extensive tennis coverage on YouTube, do me a huge favor. Smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow and lets me know you want more content like this. Your support means everything. Subscribe if you haven't already. We are growing fast, and we want you on this journey with us. We're building something special here at Court Vision Plus, and you're a huge part of it. Join the family. And ring the bell so you never miss a breaking news update like this one. When major developments happen in the tennis world, you'll be the first to know. No more scrolling through social media hoping to catch the latest updates. We'll bring them directly to you. I'm your host from Court Vision Plus, signing off. The drama is over in the boardroom, but the battle on the court is just beginning. The investigation vindicated Eala's victory, but now she has to prove she belongs among the elite by defeating Osorio and advancing to the semifinals. We'll see you at the quarterfinals, where the real test begins. Until then, keep those rackets swinging and those debates flowing in the comments. This is Court Vision Plus, where every match tells a story, and we're here to bring you every dramatic chapter.
You mentioned that you only turned 20, so obviously you have a long way to go. But if by some chance the 12-year-old version of you could realize...
It's a great ball out of the air.
She's not like, she was maybe 200 studios that time. And then maybe after that she was really improved in her